Dr Hiria McRae tōku ingoa. Me tīmata tātou i tā tātou nei mahi tata nei. Ko tōku mihi tsuatahi ki te kaupapa o te wiki nei. Ara, te tiakitanga o tā tātou reo rangatira, te reo Māori. Tuarua ki ngā mate i wainganui a tātou i tēnei wā ka tangihia ka mihia. Tuatoru tēnei kaupapa ara tētahi akoranga o te reo Māori ara ko te mihi nā momo mihi. Ko Hiria McRae tōku ingoa, no rotorua hau, he hona nā hoki ki nai sūhoi, ki ruatoki, ki Ngāti Kahungunu, ki Waimārama. I'll just check the chat to see that everybody can hear me and stuff. Nei rā, aku mihi anō kia kaita katoa. So my name's Hiria McRae. My current role here at the Herena Waka is Associate Dean Teacher Education in Te Whānau o Akopai. And so just checking that you've joined. Some of you may have joined the session before, so I've shared it a couple of times and looking at different types of mihi or acknowledgements. So often we're part of hui, and a common practice to begin a hui is someone will take the opportunity to share a karakia so that everybody is settled and as a collective and on the same kaupapa. So often, it's important to acknowledge somebody for taking on that often daunting role. But what I will do is, before we start, is practice some pronunciation, and we'll practice it with the consonant T and what it sounds like with each of our vowel sounds in Te Reo Māori. And then we'll practice this rerena kōrero or sentence structure together. So when it is with the T is with the consonant of vowel sound A, it's like a D, so da. So have a practice on your own, that D. So da. When it's with the E, it's also a D sound, so de. When it's with the I, it's a tsi, so it's at the front. So we've got da, like a D, de was also like a D, and then with the I, it's a tsi. So da, de, tsi. With the O, it's a D as well, so do, and with the U, it's a tsu. So we'll practice that together, so that da, de, tsi, do, tsu. Okay, so thinking about that da, de, tsi, do, tsu, when we practice this rerena kōrero together. So we'll begin with tēnā koe. Tēnā koe. So with pronunciation in Te Reo Māori also, when you get two vowel sounds together, it can be tricky. So with that kupu, with that term koe. So koe, so practicing the o and the e together and then rolling it. So tēnā koe. Ingoa, meaning a name. So insert your own name for now. Tēnā koe hiria. I te karakia i tēnei wā. And so again, with that te, tēnei wā. And so why I've bracketed it is that we can replace wā, which means broadly time, with other parts of the day that we have an understanding of. So, I tēnei ata, so we are in ata at the moment, morning. Broadly, I tēnei rā, this day, or I tēnei rangi, the same. i tēnei ahi, so in the afternoon, or i tēnei pō. Okay, so we'll go through the sentence again and we'll use wā. Tēnā koe hiria i te karakia i tēnei wā. And so just reiterating what you could replace wā with, ata for the morning, i tēnei ata, i tēnei ahi for the afternoon, i tēnei pō for the evening, or i tēnei rā, i tēnei rangi for this day. And we'll practice our a shortened version. Tēnā koe e te kai karakia. So with the kupu, or the prefix kai, at the beginning of karakia, it signifies a type of mahi. We understand kai has lots of different meanings. Kai common for food, but in this case, kai, the prefix, indicates a type of mahi. Kai karakia, so the person who's undertaken the karakia. Other kupu we would hopefully know. Kai ako, used for a teacher, lecturer. Kai āwhina, someone who is supporting, similar to kai tiaki. Kai mahi, generally a broad term for a worker. So that might be new learning for some of you. So that prefix kai, and then some other kupu, so kai karakia, kai ako, kai mahi, kai tiaki, kai āwhina. So hopefully you'll have a look around now or think about some of the kupu that you know similar. So we'll just quickly recap our first two sentences. Tēnā koe hiria i te karakia i tēnei wā. And our next, tēnā koe e te kai karakia. Okay. Often someone has given a speech or a kōrero, and so again, another way to acknowledge them. So we'll practice again, replacing karakia with kōrero. Nā reira. Tēnā koe hiria mō te kōrero i tēnei wā. Tēnā koe e te kai kōrero. And practice that again. Tēnā koe hiria mō te kōrero i tēnei wā, and tēnā koe e te kai kōrero. So you can share these, you can share these in closing mihi as well as in person. Some other mihi to kai kōrero, or mihi to someone in general. You want to thank them in general. And this is a common phrase that hopefully a lot of you have seen. So broadly, you could say, nā mihi kia koe hiria. So generally, thanks to you, kia koe hiria. If you're wanting to be more direct, and I use this more than I would nā mihi kia koe, I would use aku mihi, so mine, being direct. So aku mihi, personalizing it, aku e more direct. Aku mihi kia koe. And then my next slide is, no, I want to go back. So questions about, well, how do I could say, I'll go back actually to this phrase here, tēnā koe e te kai kōrero. So if you're thanking someone directly, you know their name, you could say, tēnā koe, and I'll remove the e. So with hiria, 3 syllables, I'd say tēnā koe hiria. If you had a 2-syllable name, you would use e. So, tēnā koe e hine, or tēnā koe e tin, or 1 or 2-syllable names, you use e in front. So, tēnā koe e pine, or tēnā koe e Kelly, tēnā koe e Bob. So, So, but with my name, 3 syllables, tēnā koe hiria. So I hope that makes sense. Again, hopefully some new learning for some of you. So you could do the same with these 2 mihi. Nā mihi kia koe e Tim. Nā mihi kia koe e Pine. Nā mihi kia koe hiria. If that's helpful. Aku mihi kia koe e mana. Nā mihi kia koe e hine. And aku mihi kia koe hiria, if that's helpful for you. And so some examples of giving kōrero whakamana or praise phrases is, for example, this is a bit of a whakapapa. Ka pai koe, so kōrero mai koutou, ka pai koe. So you're great, you're fantastic. And then expanding that to sino pai koe, and broadly could be translated as you're awesome. And then if they're just stunning, outstanding, sino pai rawa atu koe. Okay, we'll practice those again. Ka pai koe, and then we could say e tama, ka pai koe e hine, ka pai koe hiria, and then sino pai koe e mana, sino pai koe e pine, and then sino pai rawa atu koe hiria, sino pai rawa atu koe e Tim. So looking at that e in front of names with 1 or 2 syllables. And here we have a couple of phrases from my tūhoe influence. So tō grewa hoki, so that tō grewa, so literally grewa is clever. Tō transliteration, tō grewa hoki. Hoki has lots of different translations, and in this case, used as to emphasize. So tō grewa hoki, toa tāhua hoki. And I think I have a couple more. So you might have seen these phrases as well. You can share them in person or share them in print as well. Tauke, practice, tauke, kino ke koe, ka mau te wehi, ka mau te wehi. And the last one, kai runga no atu koe. Okay, runga no atu koe. So we'll practice these with remembering our ta, te, si, to, tu. So ta, that tauke, right. Kino ke koe, ka mau te wehi, kai runga noa atu koe. Okay, so that's what I have prepared for this morning. So we've got some good time to ask any questions. Difference between nō reira, nā reira, no. Some of us would have an understanding of the are and all categories. In this case, I don't see, a difference in why you would nā reira, nō reira, same. Ka pai ima. I hope that answers your question, Ben. So no, you can use both. Nō reira is more common. So Emma's asking what's the difference between a kai kōrero and whai kōrero. So kai kōrero, so what I shared with that prefix kai, it's a type of mahi. So the kai kōrero is the person who, kai karakia is the person. Whai kōrero is the speech itself, if that makes sense. So kai kōrero, the person who delivers the whai kōrero. Yes, Antoinette, there is difference between how people pronounce the T sound. And so for me with my tūhoi and Darawa influence, it's that da, te, si. And so you can recognize definitely someone from tūhoi or Darawa with that ta, te, si, do, su. So, and there's lots of other different common one, how the NG is pronounced. So those of you who have an understanding of our naitahu or kaitahu, so the NG is a k, it's a kaitahu. And some people, the reasons for that different dialect is often about the environments that particular iwi are or were in. And so with coming from the south, a very cold environment, so that k sound, and then the NG in a Tūhoi dialect is like a n, not the ng. So it's like instead of saying sing a song, it would be sing a song. So that NG is quite soft and pronounced as an N. And again, that's to do, well, that's one theory with the environment, a very, sort of soft bush environment in the mist. So mighty, very grateful for the mundane practice. How much is it for the sounds of? Well, up to you. So asking about, modeling different dialects. So just as long as you're consistent in whatever dialect that you choose, if that's helpful. So people can recognize maybe where you're from or where you've learnt your reo as well. So consistency. So really important to be, I think honouring our reo Māori with that da. So often, being a school teacher, being in schools a lot, and that's often something that hurts my ears, and hearing that te aroha, te whakamono is te aroha, te whakamono. If that's helpful. So asking about the polite, I don't know what polite is for you, but you choose if you want to acknowledge kaitahu, you use the kaitahu. Oh, right. Hi, Catherine. Yes, I realize actually this is new learning for me. And this is something, so Catherine's asking about, I realized I had it different on 2 slides. So I had, what do I have? I te karakia instead of mo te karakia. And so recently, some of you would know Vinny Austin Reader, and I follow him and his Mind Your Tongue. What would I say? On the gram, I don't know. Anyway, on social media. And so recently, often we're thinking about, well, when we're saying tēnā koe mō te karakia, we're saying it in a Pākehā way, if that, or reo Pākehā way, I should say. And so thank you for, but that you can use I, so tēnā koe I te karakia, rather than using, because literally, you are translating in a reo Pākehā way, but that's a whole other kaupapa in itself. So recent learning for me, tēnā koe I te karakia, rather than, which is still the same, thanking you for sharing the karakia, rather than going tēnā koe mō te karakia, for the karakia, if that makes sense. Ka hoi, Catherine, thank you for that question. And thank you for Anonymous who shared, te aka, lots of resources on pronunciation online. Kia ora, Evelyn. The O, so ka mau. And again, it is tricky when you have the 2 vowel sounds together, is tricky. O, ka mau te wehi. Ahau. commonly mispronounced as a how, which is also difficult to listen to. Ko hiria ahau. Anyway, because yeah, ahau doesn't mean anything. Yeah, ko hiria ahau, ka mau te wihi. Ka pai, Evelyn, thank you for asking. And another dialect question. So, pronounce whanganui. Again, depending on being consistent with your own dialect, whanganui is what I would say. And then if you are from, have Taranaki or our whanganui dialect, it would be wanganui. So dropping that H, whare, ware, whakaaro, wakaaro. So yeah, if that's helpful for you. So yeah, I think acknowledging that dialect, but also being consistent with your own. Yep, so same again, kia ora, Rachel. Yeah, acknowledging their dialect and their when you are visiting, I think would be appropriate. Ka pai, I like these conversations around dialect. Any other final questions? So mana whenua here, well, you have a range, right? So you have Raukawa, Ngāti Toa, Te Atiawa, Taranaki Whānui. So Te Atiawa, Taranaki Whānui, drop their H, so you recognise that. Ngāti Toa don't, Ngāti Raukawa don't. So if that's helpful for you, ka pai. I'll stay online for a little bit longer. But thank you for hanging out with me.